Pretty good.
That's you, yeah?
Yeah, that's you.
That's you, man.
This is your first Comic-Con?
No, my second. And I love it. I love Comic-Con. You guys love Comic-Con?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
But we have to, I admit, I dread it and look forward to it. Because it's like crazy, but then you also want to,
Yeah. That's true, though, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a, you get both, but it's still worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you. It can be exhausting, and it can be fatiguing when you're around crowds and crowds of people trying to,
Going in different directions.
Yeah, you're fighting your way through things.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're actually fighting like actual ninjas because everyone's dressed up, so you're like, yeah, I don't know.
It sounds like for this season coming up, they're going to, not only, well, they've laid the groundwork, and we're lucky enough to find out what your show is in the first season.
Yeah.
But they're going to flesh you guys out a little more, your characters.
Yeah.
And also your supporting characters, too. I mean, have you looked at some scripts and seen a few things on
No. I haven't, because they've been kind of secretive with me, and I think they just sort of want to see what I'll do with him when it hits, But no, I mean, Grayson, I know he has a dark past. They've been giving me hints here and there. I know he has a dark past that is somewhat involved with the Adrians. He has also, like, some family things have happened to him. And he's a very introverted kind of guy, but hides that and masks that with this sort of outgoing personality. Sort of not revealing things about himself by sort of playing that other guy. But he does have a darker sort of thing about him, and I think that's what kind of initially attracted me to the character.
Is it the physical role?
Physical? In what regard? Like stunts and stuff? Or? I mean, the very pilot episode, I definitely did some jumping and running and stuff, but I don't know. I mean, unless I usually end up doing stunts in whatever I'm in, so I'm just gonna say yes. Yeah.
Even though you're not an Atrian, have they shown you the language? About something else about the language and how in depth it is and stuff.
They got like a whole friggin' thing they're writing out, and I'm just like, how many more languages can be created? We got Klingon and Dothraki, and it's like, I don't know, but. Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it, and there was like writings and like etchings on the walls and stuff, so that was kind of cool. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm gonna try and learn the language. I'm gonna just see what I can do with that. Yeah.
What's your character's viewpoint
towards the aliens? That was sort of the interesting sort of thing to me, is that he's not a prejudiced person per se. Like, I don't believe he is unless they end up writing him like that later, and I didn't play him that way. But at the same time, he has issue with the Atrian specifically, and I don't know if he'll look at that specifically or if it will become sort of a prejudice sort of deal. I'm not sure. That's just one of those things that they haven't dived into too much with me.
How would you feel if aliens did land? What is your personal viewpoint on that?
I would be intrigued, but I mean, honestly, it's a scary idea, something we don't understand. And I honestly don't think it's any different than sticking your hand in a nest of something that you don't know, Because that's like what it is. You're involving yourself with something, or it's involving itself with you. Whether you come across a mountain lion and you don't know what it's going to do, and it can be dangerous. But the truth is that every kind of creature or thing, it can be dangerous. So I mean, even dolphins have been known to hurt people. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, like, we're going to have our initial reaction to it, but we won't really know what we're facing. If it is a hostile alien species, then I don't know. But I would like to accept anything with open arms. I would like to think that I wouldn't be closed-minded, but you don't really know unless those situations arise. Also, I mean, like, when you think about it, we don't know what they're going to look like, how they're going to present themselves. I mean, these are factors that can completely change the way you react to them, And I would love to say that, like, oh yeah, dude, I would be into that. But I honestly couldn't tell you. I would like to think that I'd be cool about it, though. But I want to be honest with myself.
another interesting aspect of the show is you're introducing this race, this culture.
Yeah.
And we've seen here in America how different nationalities have changed the way we speak, the
Yeah.
way we eat.
But it's taken what, like 100, 200 years to like be okay with most cultures being most okay with each other, you know? It'd probably take close to that for us to accept a whole different species that was like-minded enough to communicate with us on intelligent levels, right? So I would think that would be an interesting process.
So there will be a happy
Is that what you were
ending.
getting at?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, that's, I think, one of the central themes of the show.
Yeah.
Is that word, assimilation. What does that mean exactly? What's that going to mean for the human race?
Right.
We're not going to be the same anymore, probably.
And you know, like, I mean, just talking about it right now, it's an interesting thing to sort of explore. How would we react in these situations? And that, I think, is going to be the real challenge, is making that as real as possible when we're shooting it, when we're filming it. How would our characters really react to this? Because I know that these producers want to make it feel more real, you know? You can, even off the bat, you can see how they use the camera work and the music and all that, you know?
Well, take it a step further and take the aliens out of it. Tolerance and acceptance.
Yeah.
We're kind of going through that right now.
Absolutely. And just every time you think it's done, you know, like this Trayvon case, you know, it's just like we don't really realize how prominent it is until something big happens and people are rioting in the streets or whatever, you know. It's true though, yeah. And that's why, exactly, that's why I think the show will really speak to a lot of people.
What's on your TiVo?
What's on my TiVo? Yeah. Oh gosh, I don't have TiVo. I used to, but I just didn't like the idea of something consuming my life that I was paying for, you know. So I usually go over to buddies' houses to watch. But I love Game of Thrones. I love Hannibal. I think Hannibal is outstanding. The Walking Dead. You know, just I'm a real geek in a lot of ways. You know, I read all the comic books for The Walking Dead. Hannibal, of course. You know, those books are outstanding, and the sort of crime deal with you know what I'm just like talking. It's like I'm becoming a blur. But all those shows are just shows I'm just like really intrigued by, and I love the darker, sort of grittier sort of thing, you know.
Can you tell us anything about your role in Old Boy, and have you seen the original one?
I'm literally playing I'm playing a young Josh Brolin's character, a young Joe. And he's a bit of a douche. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, just he's the younger version, and my character is important, I guess. That age range is because that's when it sort of reveals when everything sort of happened to cause this butterfly effect of events. You know? I'm super excited to see how this movie came out. And I think they did a bang up. You guys saw the trailer, yeah? It looks awesome, right? And the Korean version was amazing, but this one, I knew you were going to ask that. You see how I was on that? Yeah. But
I'm happy to actually join Gray for a few questions.
Yeah.
Come sit.
Hey, girlfriend.
Hi, girlfriend. Hey.
We're on candid camera.
You're on candid camera. The thing is, if I can see myself, then I just like do this the whole time.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, blemishes aplenty.
Do you like my dance? There's like a little dance there.
This is still going on the internet.
Yeah, that's so funny. Well, somebody's
We're aliens. You gotta wiggle them though. We'll introduce those later.
Yeah.
All right, hit us.
So
what is your relationship on the show?
yeah.
We're so hot for each other.
So, I think that our relationship is, he's a cute boy, and I'm kind of flattered that he's taken an interest, and I've been in the hospital the majority of my life. So, I think any girl, like, going into any situation and a boy thinks she's cute, or just talking to her, I think Emery's very
Boys are
naive
kinda
and
new to you, right?
inexperienced,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Very
Exactly.
innocent.
Yeah.
Did you have to pick up the language? Do you speak the language?
The Adrian language, I don't.
You probably have to though.
I think at some point, though, I think it'd be awesome if Emery just busts out some Atrian. Because the guy that actually created the Atrian language is the same guy that created the Dothraki language.
Yeah.
And so it's like a full-on, it's a real language, like everything, anything you want to say in Atrian. He has a whole, not just like, oh, this means this, it's like a full rundown of why this is this and why, how it translates.
Oh yeah.
I'm hoping to get it on, like, if they do like a, I don't know, podcast or something like that, where you can like learn Atrian today. Today we're gonna learn how to.
You can do like an Atrian rap on YouTube or something.
Yeah. You know what?
Paying for the show.
With our Kooky Cast, they'd probably do that.
Our Kooky Cast loves like Instagram and videos and YouTube and Vine. There's going to be some good stuff. I feel like that's going to come out.
Here's something. Where are you guys when we first see you on the show in the pilot? Where are your characters at that point? Can you talk about that?
You mean like emotionally, or
Emotionally, or what are you doing, and what how are we going to meet you?
How do we meet each other? In the
Well,
pilot?
how is the audience going to meet you guys? How are we first going to see you guys?
Individually or together?
If you're together,
I think with Emery, during the pilot, we first pick up with Emery. We first picked up with Emery 10 years in the past, when she was a little kid, and the aliens crash landed on Earth, and she has an interaction with the character Roman, and so that I think always, seeing something at such a young age, I think always makes such an impact on your life. And then after that, we'll pick up with me, as I am now, not little. She's just gotten out of the hospital. She's been in and out of the hospital the majority of her life with an autoimmune deficiency. And so she's entering high school for the first time. So that's kind of a cool parallel, is she's entering high school and experiencing it for the first time, and the aliens are entering high school and experiencing it for the first time. So they're both feeling very alien in the situation, which is what I think is interesting about, sci-fi and like having that aspect of aliens, like what is an alien? And I think we've all felt alien at some point, whether it's, being in high school and like being, sorted out, or like people, and not accepting you or feeling uncomfortable. I think that we've all sort of felt that.
Do you believe in aliens?
I do. I think it's naive not to. I mean, I don't know if they're green or they have 3 eyes, or, they're just maybe an evolved human race. I don't know. But I think it'd be very naive to think that we're the only intelligent life out there.
I think we're the only ones.
I think that's great. How would you feel if aliens landed on Earth?
I think at first I would feel, natural reaction is fear. I think anything new, I think that's just a natural reaction. If they,
anything we don't understand.
Yeah. But I would definitely want to know about them. I think that I would be an awful person. I would be berating them with a million questions. I ask a lot of questions. So I don't know. It'd be cool to see, what they not only look like and what do they eat, how do they interact, is there
how do they party?
How do they party? How is their social structure? How is their government set up? Do they have one? Is it like anarchy? I don't know. I think that's, possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
I already asked Gray the question, what's on your TiVo? What other shows do you
What's on my TiVo? Ooh. I just did a giant binge of Game of Thrones. I love Game of Thrones.
Everybody loves Game of Thrones.
How can you not
Seems
love
like
Game of
that.
Thrones?
I've never heard one person be like, no, I hate that show.
Pretty bomb show.
Yeah.
Walking
Sorry, I didn't mean to
Dead.
step on your question.
You totally stole my question. It's my answer time, okay?
Can you guys just do like one goofy picture together?
Yes.
Wait, what
Alright
are
guys,
you
I have to
doing?
wrap them
I'll
after
do
the
it.
photo.
I'm gonna do whatever fish face. We're doing okay.
Face works.
Perfect.